What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today, we're talking about video game setup and whatnot. So, I moved Bruce Lee. I don't know if it's temporary or permanent, but I wanted to try Clicker here. I want to try him somewhere else as well. But this is a good spot. Now, Clicker doesn't need to be this high where Bruce Lee did. You know, this is pretty tall because we had to accommodate for the Doom. But I think Clicker's perfectly fine on a standard garage shelf. Heck, even lower, like in my mid room, it was perfectly fine because he is looking up. He still does look absolutely awesome. I put both the games, the bloater. Bloater, you know, I just put some putty on him and he is solid as a rock. And then, of course, Last of Us poster there. Now, if we kept him here, and I will show you guys some Photoshops, I can just put, I want to raise this shelf same height. That way underneath I can put larger 1/4s. And we could do Last of Us and Uncharted. You know, all games made by the same maker, Naughty Dog. So it would look good. Underneath I could technically do Tomb Raider, although I still prefer her higher. I could do Devil May Cry. I could do Resident Evil 3. Although I'd probably do Devil May Cry over Resident Evil 3 and do Resident Evil 3 over there if I wanted to. I could just do the Zelda. There's a lot I could do, but I do want to raise this because it's really hard to put anything taller than 20 inches down there. Even though this can accommodate 32, I can only put 20-inch statues down there. Maybe 24. I mean, Master Chief was okay. He wasn't too bad. But, you know, so I kind of have a few ideas. I need to make this look best. Now, right now we've put Bruce Lee in the main room, and I'll show you in a minute, but I could return Bruce Lee right there. I've done that in the past. It looked decent. Although the wall as a whole right now is just all 1/4s, you know, similar video games matching, all Prime 1, looks amazing. We also have that end shelf, the little glass, which I can put really anything. I've done Halo. I thought doing Halo underneath, Tomb Raider above, although Tomb Raider is a little risky right there just because of so many like spikes and tails and whatnot. You know, and I've also considered, you know, I'm looking into getting a Kratos bust commissioned, like a silicone, really high-end bust, as big as my clicker. And if that happens, then we're definitely going to do like a bust, you know, the busts on this wall. You know, to accommodate for that, you know, we'd basically alternate bust, 1/4, 1/4 bust, 1/4, 1/4 bust. Now, the third bust would be Mimir by Blue Box Hyper. They have a Mimir bust. Now, I could technically still just buy Mimir. I'd want to move God of War right there and do Mimir right there on that glass shelf. And then we do Clicker bust here. So it kind of ends with two busts on each end. Granted, Mimir's not a traditional bust. It's more just a head hanging on like a little tree thing. But it technically still is a bust. Granted, Clicker's a monster big bust. I'd prefer to have another monster big bust like a Kratos. Now, those would be the two best, you know, like video game busts for me. You know, two of my favorite franchises. Now, I could technically, you know, let's say move God of War right there or there and do Clicker bust with Last of Us right there in the middle and just have it, the Clicker bust as like a centerpiece. Plus, I think the Last of Us style will be the best video game statue, so it'd be like the two best pieces, just as a centerpiece. And if I want to do God of War there and then do Mimir, I could, or I could just, you know, it's kind of hard to say. And anything I put over here does have limited angles, basically only like this angle. It's kind of hard to see like straight on or from the left. And I don't really want to put Kratos there. I was thinking Resident Evil 2 would go a little bit better. You know, because this one, you know, it's almost better from this angle. You know, like this angle, you can see his face a little bit better, but this one's kind of more like just straight on or slightly from this angle, I would say. Devil May Cry is okay in that angle. You know, Aloy actually worked really good. I just never returned her up there. But, you know, I need to see if, A, I can get that Kratos bust commissioned. Like, make sure it's actually legit. And 2, do we consider Mimir? It's still, you know, a pricey piece. It's not cheap. It's, you know, nearly 60% of the Resident Evil 3 diorama. And I'm thinking, what would I rather have, a Resident Evil 3 diorama or Mimir? I'd rather have that Resident Evil 3 diorama. I think it's definitely going to be cooler. I think Mimir will be absolutely insanely detailed and very cool. but there's just zero chance he'll beat Resident Evil 3. So I'm still kind of leaning of just keeping this wall kind of as is, and raising this shelf and doing, I'm even thinking, what if we do Resident Evil 2 down there, Resident Evil 3 above, so it's a Resident Evil display. And then over there, we could do Devil May Cry, that one does require a deeper shelf. Technically, Horizon Zero Dawn does not. So we have to accommodate for the deeper shelves. I think Resident Evil 3 would work good because of the way it's angled. You'd have the giant Nemesis right here angled like this one. I'd have it slightly diagonal. And it would just look really good either there or right here. Like, that's the two best spots for it. Now, like, I've also thought of just getting the Resident Evil 3 dio here because it looked really good. I'd get full 360-degree angles, keeping that there so it's like they're across from each other. And underneath, I could put, I could always do Link or whatnot. But in that situation, we would not keep the clicker bus there. I could always return Bruce Lee there. But if we did Resident Evil 2 there, or Resident Evil 3, I was even thinking I could technically raise Doom Eternal and just put Halo underneath. Doom Eternal is definitely a great centerpiece for that closet, because you need like a big centerpiece right there. There's definitely a lot to consider. I definitely do want that Resident Evil 3 dio, and Jill just started shipping. Granted, like, that video game to me is more like a 7.5 out of 10. I like Jill Valentine. She's hot and sexy and cool. The video game was great. It was short, like 6 hours, but very fun, very thrilling and intense. Just kind of like constantly on the edge of your seat. Definitely a very fun game. I could buy just Jill. I don't technically need Nemesis, even though he's really cool. Jill already has a zombie dog and a zombie still crawling. So I even thought I could just throw Jill right there. She would fit. Put Jill here and do the zombie dog right there. And then that's like the Resident Evil 3. Like, we just pass on Nemesis just because his design in general is kind of like, looks like a bunch of trash bags on him. Like, he's still cool, but I could just do Jill right here. Jill, I'm trying to think what would be better, Jill or Mimir? I mean, there's such different things, bus versus like a full-blown video game, extremely, intricate, detailed thing versus just like a very detailed, cool-looking godhead that's cut off. Jill would be cheaper. And she could definitely go right there. But let's say we keep this wall as is. We just throw Jill here. Let's say Zelda right there. Lower these two down and do Last of Us and Uncharted. You could technically do that. Once this shelf is raised, I could definitely just keep these two. Halo, Tomb Raider, two classic games. Of course, we'd put the Halo helmet next to them, which currently I put right there. I'm still trying to decide if these two like kind of match. I'd probably do Halo there, Tomb Raider there is how to do it. Because Halo, is a better piece next to Doom versus her. She's not horrible down low, but we definitely need the shelf raise to consider that. I definitely could consider that. And I'll show you guys some Photoshops of a lot of this. And then I'm thinking for Zelda, I want to sell Link on Epona and do Adult Link there. Or Majora's Mask, and we do Adult Link inside there. And I kind of think that might be it for me on Zelda. Still TBD. I already have a Ganon and a Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess. And I love the design, and those pieces are great. That whole setup is amazing. So I don't truly need like another Trinity setup. From like Ocarina of Time. We'll have Kid Link, we'll have Adult Link. Majora's Mask is still like, do I truly need it? I would say probably no. I could just call it quits after I get Dream Studios Link. And the main reason I want Dream Studios Link is because it just scales better with young Link, and I think I like the concept slightly more. Plus having all three costumes. So that's why we got to sell that Link on Epona. As well as Link on Epona would help fund Jill or Mimir. And then if we don't do Zelda there, I could always do Halo there and do something else next to Tomb Raider over here. So there's definitely some things to consider. I could also just do Halo and Tomb Raider and Resident Evil 3 Dio down here. Or Resident Evil right here and Devil May Cry down there. Although I feel like I'd want the Resident Evils next to each other, so I'd probably want to remove Resident Evil 2 here and then God of War there. But that puts a lot of the prioritization of this wall in Resident Evil, and I kind of want it not prioritized in any way. So, I really think a lot about this stuff. I want the best video game setup. Obviously, Clicker works better theme-wise here than Bruce Lee does. He doesn't really fit theme-wise. He does look good. It's tight. It's definitely tight. And I do like where I'm putting him right now. I'll show you. I know some people are going to say it looks out of place, but it still looks awesome. Clicker does look awesome here. No doubt. He did not work there. You need to have a good, space between you and him. And I do want to try Clicker over there to see how it looks in person. This area is I could do Hobbit. I'm getting Bolg tomorrow. And so I'm going to try Bolg there, see how he looks, see how I like it. And if I like it and it looks good, I'll probably do Hobbit there. Because it works theme-wise, with orcs here, orcs there, Lord of the Rings directly in that room. I feel like it does work. I could also technically do Zelda right here. If we keep Link and Epona, we get Blue Link, we get a Master Sword. Throw all that right there. This could all be Zelda. Although I'm still leaning towards Hobbit. I really want to see how good the Bolg is. I'm very curious. And this is where we've put Bruce Lee. So, wife does like it here. She thinks it looks good. It's much more spaced out. Now, standing up, you can't see Bruce Lee's face as good. When I'm sitting down on my couch, I can see him great. I'm able to space out my 3 dragons, nunchuck, COA movie. And when I'm sitting down, I get that money spot. Boom. Now, obviously, it's blocking some of the AVP and Terminator from this particular angle, but if I want to view those, I just have to move slightly. But that's kind of what we've done with Bruce Lee. Now, I absolutely love this Bruce Lee statue. I think it's very special. It's amazing. I don't want to sell it. It is difficult to display. And I could technically raise this shelf and even put statues beneath if I truly wanted to. But let's go over some Photoshop so I can show you guys. All right, so here is how this would look with Mimir. I'd move this just kind of in between Mimir and Baldur. But that is one Photoshop if we did, Mimir there. And here's kind of I said, I raise the shelf and I do The Last of Us and then Uncharted. And I think theme-wise that works amazing. Underneath, I think this does work really good because they have similar styled bases with just demons on the base. So I think this works really good as well. So I think overall, this looks great. And then here's potentially if I did Resident Evil 3 underneath. But again, I would probably not do those underneath. I would do Devil May Cry and then do Resident Evil 3 on the other wall. But I'd have to do up and down Resident Evil 3, not left and right. So it'd have to be RE2 down low, RE3 above. And this is kind of the ultimate plan. Although it would actually be Resident Evil here, not Horizon, because Resident Evil needs that deeper space. So this works really good. You got The Last of Us set up on its own garage shelf. Really good. And then, of course, Uncharted still. And then it goes into Kratos bust. That's a concept bust. I took off Blue Box Hyper and the Gaming Heads base, and I threw the logo and the axe on there. Got that, that. And then, of course, Mimir. So I think this is the best plan. Just obviously Resident Evil 2. I would do Resident Evil 2 and 3 on the other shelf, but 2 is just too deep. I'd have to try it, though, to see if maybe I could get it to work. But this looks amazing. I really dig this. It's just a matter of, can I get that custom made? And this is hypothetically, we just don't get it custom made, and I wanted to do kind of the bust on each end, as I was talking about in the beginning. So Mimir's only 20 inches tall. Clicker bust is 35 inches tall, so he is substantially bigger, and I think I even underscaled him, but, this kind of works. And I could technically just do only clicker here, no Mimir, and do something else there. You know, this is, like I said, if I just wanted Last of Us in this display, you know, this technically works. It's just like one bust in the middle as a centerpiece. Although I'd probably switch those. That's kind of it for the Photoshops, but definitely a lot to think about. I need to first see if I could really get that Kratos bust made, because if I do, then we're definitely going to go through with Mimir and just, you know, fulfill that plan. You know, if I don't get a Kratos bust, then I'm not sure in Mimir. I'd probably rather just get Jill Valentine, you know. So it's definitely a lot to think about. And in case you're unfamiliar with Mimir, here's like a Blue Box Hyper video they did on him. You know, like, this is really cool. You know, hand punched hair, glass light up eyes. You see like how wrinkly and old he looks. You know, he's a very old god. Really good detail in this guy. The horns, the real rope holding him. He has all his tattoos, nose hair. You know, like, check out those tattoos on his head. Looks really freaking good, no doubt. In terms of detail, like, this is top notch. You know, Blue Box never disappoints when I get them. So, still really want to get this. Of course, I'd love to get this and Jill and everything, but money is low, and so is space and box space. I'm just low on everything, so I have to be very... I don't want to have to sell anything, if you know what I mean. So that's why I'm just, like, being extremely cautious, because it's very hard to sell statues right now, and I don't want to have to buy something and then, like, realize, oh, shoot, and then I have to sell it. No, nothing's worse than that right now. But as you can see, this piece looks amazing, you know, but Jill also looks incredible. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.